All right, good afternoon, everyone. It's Mark Lodato, Dean of the Newhouse School with you, and really am glad to have this opportunity to speak with you at the beginning of our Parents Weekend and Family Weekend, really. And we're disappointed that we can't have everybody on campus, of course, but appreciate this opportunity to get to talk with you and really bring you up to date and celebrate many of the great things about Syracuse University and the Newhouse School. So I've got a lot of information to share, and there's going to be an opportunity for plenty of Q&A and some other conversations as we go along. So I hope that you have some questions or comments that you would like to share with us. I'm happy to take those as well. As you know, it's been a challenging fall, but I think it's gone well, and we'll talk more about that from a COVID planning perspective. And I'll get into spring and some options over winter break and talk even about summer and internships and everything else. And some of the real highlights that from my perspective of our fall semester. I do want to begin, however, though, and acknowledge that it's been a rough week for us here at the Newhouse School and for Syracuse University, with the loss of 2 students this week, one of whom was a Syracuse, or rather Newhouse School freshman. And I can tell you that we've worked very hard in the last 48 hours or so to connect with our students and listen and hear their concerns and do everything that we can to be available and responsive in assisting in how you manage and really persevere through a challenging time like this. And I can tell you I am always really taken aback by the strength of our students, and yet this is a very difficult time, and it feels as if we're just adding additional layers of challenge, and that's what this week has been like. And so there will be opportunities for students to join together in remembering the 2 Syracuse students that we've lost this week in what are truly tragic accidents. And but meanwhile, I want to make sure that all of our Newhouse community knows that faculty and staff and counselors were all available to be a resource in trying to get through this. And I think one of the great strengths of the Newhouse School is our sense of family and our sense of community. And it's, we see that often in the more fun and exciting times around the school and around campus, and when it comes time to get jobs and internships and all of that. But that family bond in that community is just as strong in times of need and times of crisis. And so I would urge all of our students and families not to hesitate to reach out if there are areas in which we can help support you. So with that, I will move along and really look forward to giving you an update of our fall semester, where we are. We've turned the corner through the halfway mark of the fall semester. We're closer to break than we are to the beginning of classes. And honestly, that is an exciting place to be, given all that we've overcome and all that we've done to be here and in person this semester. And so what I'm going to do is do my best technical level of command here and share my screen with you. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and bring you some updates that will allow you to get a sense of really where we are and as a school and everything else. So I'm going to pull up a short deck here that I'm going to play and share. So go ahead and do that. Hopefully you can see this. So again, thanks so much for being with us. I appreciate seeing you, and I can't tell if that is full screen for you, because it's not for me. Let me see, but I'm going to keep moving here. So again, glad to have you here. And as you may recall, we really began with here we go. We began with fall semester and the fall welcome. And for many of you, this may seem like a long time ago, and honestly, it does for me too. But it went so well to see students back on campus after having to send everyone home in the spring and having a very quiet summer, finding ways to engage with our students. And I'm so encouraged, and I know the rest of the faculty was as well, by the enthusiasm our students showed during the fall welcome experience and moving in and everything else, and just the general excitement to be back on campus was huge. And it wasn't just felt by the students. I promise you, the faculty and staff felt it too, and a real energy level as we charged into the fall semester. But certainly with big changes, right? So you can see that photo of one of the 3 tents that we put outside of the Newhouse School. We were constantly looking for ways to be creative in which we could engage and educate students. And for those first few weeks of the semester, we thought the tents would be a fun idea, and it actually worked out quite well. I will say we did have to take the tents down, and now is the little bit colder, and so we've regrouped inside as planned. But I think we will likely bring the tents back in the spring, late spring, but again, drift outside a little bit as the opportunity presents itself. But that was a fun thing to add to the process. And just in general, I think the COVID precautions that we've seen here at Syracuse have really worked quite well. And when I compare what we have done, as well as how we've endured this fall semester compared to many of our peer institutions and other schools around the country, I'm really quite proud, and I hope you are too, of what we've been able to do, and by and large keep our case count quite low, given the size of the university, and be able to continue forward with our mix of in-person, online, and hybrid classes. And we're learning a lot in this process, certainly about the hybrid modality, what works and what doesn't work as well. And we're making adjustments, and I'll talk more about that in a few minutes. But I think a big shout out of thanks goes to our students, because they are the ones who by far have, in essence, bought into the kinds of precautions that they need to take to ensure that they get to stay here for the remainder of the semester and not go home. And I think they understand what's at stake. So it's been reassuring to see everyone in the building wearing masks, using the hand sanitizers and the wipes in the classrooms and all those sorts of things. And as you know, one of the challenges is, of course, when students are off campus. So how they're spending their time socially and off-campus gatherings and those sorts of things remains our highest area of concern. And the one spike we did see a couple weeks ago certainly had a relationship to off-campus gatherings and travel, frankly, outside of Central New York. So our mantra remains the same. We hope and expect our students and faculty and staff to stay within Central New York for the duration of the semester, and limit the size of gatherings in which they participate to too small, and really everyone has to do their part to help maintain this safe atmosphere. And if you're like me and you take a look at case counts on a day-by-day basis, you know that we did reach a high last week or so ago, but now we're going to start to see that number dramatically drop in the next few days, because of the way, after that initial spike, the quarantine period for many students of the 10 to 14 days, that is coming to an end. So those numbers that you're seeing on our website will come down sharply in the next 48 to 72 hours or so. So we're looking forward to that, but we have a long way to go, right? We have Halloween, which is traditionally a time when there are many parties and get-togethers and those sorts of things. And I've got my fingers crossed that our student population remembers the need to stay safe and practice those strong habits of social distancing and wearing masks and everything else. And I think my gut tells me if we can get through Halloween and that week or two that follow, that we'll be in pretty good shape and be able to make our objective of getting to the Thanksgiving break, at which time everyone will go home for several weeks. And I will tell you one statistic that I find quite encouraging is, to date, there is no strong evidence to show that there's been any case of classroom transmission. So in other words, no evidence that COVID has been transmitted from person to person inside a Syracuse University classroom, which I think is remarkable. And again, a reassuring data point as we make our way through this semester and position ourselves for the spring as well. And these precautions will stay in place, certainly throughout this semester, and I suspect well into next semester as well. One thing that we did learn along the way is that we need to work harder to create other kinds of engagement opportunities. Students have told us what they miss, and they miss chances to get together, chances to engage, and a lot of it is that organic engagement. So chatting with a professor right at the end of class, or running into somebody in the hallway, or ducking your head into an office and having a conversation with other students or faculty and whatnot. And so we're working hard to be more creative to create opportunities like that for our students. And I think you'll see those continue to grow throughout this semester and certainly into next semester. I think at the outset, we worked so hard to get students on campus and get those students who are from out of state in a quarantine situation that we frankly locked down a little too tight. And we didn't spend enough time thinking about, okay, well, now students are here, what are we going to do? And what's going to happen outside of the classroom experience? So we've learned some things there, and we're going to be more aggressive there moving forward, certainly as we move into winter and the fall semester. So moving forward here. So some of our initiatives this fall, I would say, and this really goes for me as a new dean at the school, some things that I am concentrating heavily on this fall and will continue as we move forward in the months and years ahead. First of all, student success. Some of you may have heard me say this before, but our vision and of student success is really paramount in my eyes, and that's ensuring that our students are finding success not only in the classroom, but outside of the classroom. So that means advising and engagement and career services and all of these things that really make up the whole student experience. And so we've really increased our resources in the areas of student success. Even in my short time here, we've hired 2 additional academic advisors, so growing our advising team from 4 to 6, and that has a significant impact. And I have, in essence, redesigned the recruitment and student engagement portion of the Newhouse School. Many of you remember Wes Whiteside. He is here and doing the great work that he has done for years for Newhouse, but we're going to give Wes a little more help because it is time to do so. So we are currently seeking a brand new recruitment and student engagement director. And this person will lead that office in which Wes works. And then we're adding 2 other positions within that unit as well. Sort of a frontline assistant who will also help in social media engagement and corresponding with families. And then also a 4th person who's going to look at engagement as it relates to high schools and scholastic journalism. And this unit is going to do more than simple recruitment. It is going to really be the hub of coordinating activities between our departments and other areas of the school, and make sure that all of our students understand what's going on and all the things that are happening at Newhouse and beyond, and keep them engaged. So I'm really excited about that piece that's going to continue to grow over the months ahead. And it really brings up what I think is a real challenge for higher education today in this COVID environment, and that is the area of student recruitment. So as you may recall, this is the time of year when we're usually hosting students and showing them around the classroom and letting them know all that Syracuse University and the Newhouse School has to offer. And we can't do that right now. And that's a bummer. We love hosting people and showing them what we're all about and letting them dip into classes. But I've been really proud of our team because we've been very aggressive in finding new ways to help students engage virtually. And we've got a group that is producing really interesting videos that students can access. We've upped our engagement on social platforms. We're going to be doing Q&As with current students and alums. And we'll also be hosting sessions with myself and other members of the leadership team, really to give students and frankly, you parents also a sense of what we're doing and helping everyone understand how invested we are in the success of our students and the safety of our students moving forward. And I thought it would be fun to give you a tease of one of these videos because I think it's terrific and the kind of thing that will really resonate with some of our students. So I wanted to play this for you. Some of you who know this style will probably recognize it. It's seen online a lot, used by Vogue magazine, which is a Condé Nast product, which is out of the Newhouse Advanced Publications empire, so to speak. So we're taking a little page from their style book and using this process to help engage our students today. So I hope that you enjoy it.
Hi, Alyssa.
Oh, hey.
So you're a student here at Syracuse University?
I am.
What year?
I'm a senior, class of 2021.
And what's your major?
I'm a public relations major.
So where are we right now?
Well, right now we're inside the one and only SI Newhouse School of Public Communications.
How did Newhouse play into your decision to come to SU?
Obviously I knew that Newhouse was the best communication school in the country, but it was once I got on campus and felt that real community feeling that I was totally sold.
All right, so what are 3 words that describe Syracuse University?
Ooh, okay, I'm gonna say experience, tradition, and home.
I see Dick Clark's studios behind you. Must be cool to go to school where an icon like him did.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
A lot of broadcast icons went here, huh?
Yeah, we got Mike Tirico, Beth Mowens. How much time do you have?
So some of the best broadcasters perfected their craft here. Can you show us where all the magic happens?
Oh, of course, follow me. This right here is where all of the magic happens, inside of our very own digital news center, where students get hands-on experience so they know exactly what it's like when they work in a real-life studio one day.
So what do you want to do in PR?
Ugh, you sound like my parents. But I'm an English and sport management dual minor, so I think the dream job would be to do PR for a professional baseball team one day.
And would you say your courses are showing you how to get there?
100%. Our professors have all worked in the industry, so they make sure when I'm in the classroom, I get the same experiences that they got in the workforce.
All right. So what's the cage?
The cage here is where all of our students come to rent out state-of-the-art lighting, production, and photography equipment to make their productions as best as they can be.
What kind of stuff have you seen students filming?
Actually, my very first week while walking through Newhouse, someone asked me randomly to be a part of their short film. Something creative and something someone's passionate about is always going on here, and you will star in a short film at some point.
This is a really cool space.
This is a cool school.
Lots of inspiration up there. What inspires you most about being an SU student?
My fellow classmates, it's hard to not be inspired when you're surrounded every day by people pursuing their passions.
So, what goes on at the Joyce Hergenhan Auditorium?
Over here at the Herg, we basically get to have our own little Newhouse TED Talks. Huge names, everyone from CEOs of ad agencies around the globe to former Bachelorette contestants, come and tell us their stories of success and give us advice.
Now, what's your favorite all-time moment as a student here at SU?
I'd have to say rushing the field with 40,000 of my closest friends after we upset Clemson. And this is food.com.
Food.com?
Yep, it's where students come to study, hang out, and eat.
What's your favorite thing to eat here?
I get a Southwest chicken wrap and a strawberry banana smoothie.
What do you think Dean Lodato orders?
Probably a grilled veggie panini.
Actually, I'm more of a California Turkey Club kind of guy.
You choose your own classes here too, right?
We do, and they're never boring. If you have an interest, Syracuse has a class for you. I'm currently taking a class called Feminism and Hip Hop.
Alyssa, it was nice to meet you. One last question. What's your favorite color?
Orange, obviously.
Okay, now the real last question. What does it mean to be orange?
To be orange means that wherever you go, you're never alone because there's always going to be a community behind you supporting you.
All right, that's Alyssa. Check back to meet more of the Syracuse University family. Until then, stay safe and be orange.
So there you go. I thought that was pretty unique and pleased to see that we're moving in that direction and in a position where we can really be engaging with our prospective students in other platforms and more aggressive in that space. So you're gonna see more videos like that looking at areas of the university, and then we've got a whole slew of additional content coming on to the Newhouse site in the next few weeks, and we'll continue that well into the spring. So this whole area of student engagement and recruitment growing quickly, and I think a real important part to ensure success for our students. Another thing that's been a lot of fun for me, I started a new Dean's Student Leadership Council. So this is in essence bringing together the leaders of our key student media and clubs at the Newhouse School. It's allowed me to stay in touch with our students and understand the challenges that they're facing and hear from them directly, and also create a really nice dialogue back and forth. I think access to leadership is really important for our students, and it's important to me. I need to hear what's going on and rather unfiltered and look for opportunities to continue to serve our students. And some examples, even in my most recent meeting a couple weeks ago, they came up with some great ideas, and we talked a lot about the election. I'm concerned about our students, frankly, around the election time, and am going to want to bring some resources together. So with the advice of the council, we came up with some ideas on events that we can hold around the election that give students a good understanding of what to expect and what to expect afterwards, and what happens if we don't know who won the election, and how does that process work, and how do you have that difficult conversation when you go back home for Thanksgiving and may run into friends or relatives who may not share the same political ideas that you do or beliefs, and do that in a civil way and one that is productive and not adversarial. So we're going to be talking about all those sorts of things, and really be, in essence, keeping a close eye on our students and being available as questions arise. But that's just one idea that came out of that student leadership group. As we look ahead to spring, I wanted to make sure everybody understood where we are. The students with us today will remember that, unfortunately, I think it's the right decision, but it's never fun. We've decided to teach through spring break, so we're not going to be programming a break in the middle of the semester, but we will be starting 1 week later. So classes will start on January 25th, and we'll roll right through to the end of the semester and finish up there at the traditional time, right at late April, early May. And I think that's, from a health perspective, the prudent thing to do. Again, it concerns me a little bit on the engagement piece. We'll need to make sure that we're doing plenty of things with our students, especially when the weather's not so great and people are feeling a little tired and bummed out by the cloudy skies and want to be out and about and doing something fun. We'll work hard to make sure that there are things to do. And one thing we're spending extra attention on, and you may want to consider, is we're going to be offering more classes this winter, what we call Winterlude. So this would be the 2 weeks prior to that January 25th start. And so if my memory serves correctly, it's about January 12th to the 22nd, I believe are the dates, 11th or 12th to the 22nd. So there will be opportunities after the holidays for students to take some classes. And those could be, we'll have a couple Newhouse classes in the mix, but there will also be other classes from around campus that could either potentially go towards your degree requirements or simply be an elective that you were hoping to have the opportunity to take that you could knock out in a relatively short amount of time. Some may be 1 credit classes, some may be 2, some may even be 3. But those classes will be coming online here pretty soon. You'll get a chance to see what those opportunities are. We're continuing to really look at and adjust the campus experience. Students have told us what they like and what they don't, and we're listening. So my major takeaway has been that when students are in person in the classroom, they're enjoying that opportunity to engage. And if they have to take the class online, that's okay too. The hard part is that middle part, the hybrid classes. And so that's when you have an instructor trying to teach and engage students both in person and remotely via Zoom at the same time. That's pretty tough, and it's pretty tough all the way around. I'll have to say I'm immensely proud of our faculty, who I think have done exceptionally well in this modality, but that doesn't mean it's perfect, and it still creates some challenges both for the students and for the instructors as well. So what we're trying to do is schedule more of our classes for spring with one modality or the other, so students have a clear choice. So if there is a class where there are, say, for example, 3 sections of the same course that we're offering in the spring, my goal is to have, for example, 2 of those be in-person experiences, fully in person, and 1 of those be fully online. And the student can choose which modality is best for him or her. And that's what we're attempting to do. So I think there'll be more choices and they'll be clearer when registration opens. We've already gotten all the information from our faculty and we're getting close to posting our schedule, and all of this will be very clear. So students are making a very obvious choice. And by and large, we will be avoiding any sort of last minute changes in modality at the start of the spring semester. I'm really doing everything I can, and I know fellow deans around campus are, to give students ultimate choice and also a sense of understanding that this is the way it's going to be when you come back in January. We're already looking ahead to summer internships. I think many of those will be remote, but we're working hard. We're seeing a bit of an upswing. We had a huge drop in internship opportunities when COVID really hit, understandably so, but now companies are beginning to find their sea legs a bit and figuring out how they're going to be able to offer internship opportunities over the summer. So we are actively lining those up already. And we're also looking for other kinds of experiences to grow for our students who may not be able to find an internship. If the total number is fewer, then we're going to look for other ways to make sure that our students are engaged over the summer. So we've got a lot of ideas working there. So don't worry, we have not lost sight of the summer and what it's going to take to help our students succeed. A couple hints at some of my strategic initiatives that we're working on. Soon we'll be announcing more scholarships that will be available, not only to incoming students, but also to current students. We've seen a need for what I would call finish line scholarships, scholarships that maybe juniors or seniors are really needing to get that degree and really pull themselves over the finish line. And, you know, things change and your world changes, and what was reality as a freshman may not be reality as a junior, and your financial situation may be more dire. So the Newhouse School is going to create a pool of more dollars for, I wouldn't call them emergency scholarships, but scholarships that maybe not have been necessary a couple years ago, that are need-based, that are now finding a necessity as a junior or senior. We're continuing to grow our professional program experiences. So these are hands-on experiences for our students in which they can engage and produce content for commercial outlets. We've got some neat things in the pipeline. One I'm happy to see come on the calendar in the spring that will be able to have our students producing via our NYC program, our New York City program, producing hands-on content for Yahoo News and their digital platforms. So that's an example of the kind of programs I'd like to grow. And we're looking for opportunities in New York, Los Angeles, and Washington, D.C. So I think in the next year to two, you're going to see a lot more opportunities for our students in those cities. In a very good way, we are in a position where we're going to be hiring, and we have, as is normal in academia, we have some openings that we'll want to fill for the next academic year. So this will be the fall of 2021. And while many schools are frankly having to dial back, luckily the Newhouse School, we are a well-endowed institution and school. And so we have specific dollars that are set aside for faculty, and they can't be spent on anything else. So there's no reason to let it sit there. We want to continue to grow our faculty and bring additional scholars and professionals and others to campus. And I see this, frankly, as an opportunity to continue to help set ourselves apart from our competitive institutions, our peers, our competitive peers. And I am putting my foot on the gas, and I want to continue to help Newhouse grow and succeed. So you'll see some new faculty joining us next year, which will be exciting. And also, we're going to continue to grow our research opportunities. And this isn't just research for faculty or grad students. We have a very clear conversation going on how we can grow research opportunities for our undergrad students. I think that's a desire of theirs and something we would like to embrace. So I've challenged our faculty to look at that, and we're even creating more of a leadership post among my team of deans, really to focus on the research piece. So that's exciting as well. So there is certainly a lot going on, and I am very excited to see what the next months and years bring. I can tell you, I couldn't be more excited about my new job. I'm just loving it here and getting to know all of our students and families. And I am certainly bummed out that we can't all be together in person, especially on an exciting weekend like this, family weekend. That is the time that we want to really engage with you and welcome you into the Newhouse family and the Newhouse fold. So, but we will get back to that place. But just know in the meantime that we're working hard to ensure that all of our students have a fantastic experience, and know that we are here as a resource 24/7. So if there's anything more we can be doing as leaders and faculty members and staff members to help our students succeed and enjoy their time here at Newhouse and Syracuse, we are on that and all about that. But in the interest of being respectful of time, I wanted to acknowledge a special guest who is kind enough to drop in with us today and say hello. And arguably one of the hardest working alums of Syracuse University and certainly the Newhouse School. And that is certainly our own Mike Tirico. So Mike, I see you there. And
there I am. Hello.
There you are. It is good to see you again. We've talked recently, but we haven't connected face to face in a while. How are you doing?
I know. I'm doing okay, Dean Lodato. Thank you. I had a chance to listen to the update that you were giving for all the families and the parents and any students that might be on, and friends of our Newhouse students as well. Thank you for sharing all of that. All of us as alums are certainly excited about where the school is going, what's ahead. This is a kind of a little behind the scenes sneak peek here. So I am in my home office in Michigan. We live in Ann Arbor, Michigan. My wife, who's also a Syracuse alum, and I, we both live here. And in every other year that I've been working, I'm calling a football game tomorrow. I would be in that city, and we call the Notre Dame games for NBC. But as every world has changed and family weekend is virtual and everything Dean Lodato was just talking about, we're in the same boat. So I actually am preparing for games at home and then going to the game site as close to the game as safely possible. So I drive over to South Bend tomorrow morning, do the game, and then we fly to Connecticut. It's so odd. It's very different. But that's the story of our lives these days, adapt and adjust. So it's an extra day to sit around with my Syracuse gear and hang out and be a part of this as well.
Well, that's the way we like it for sure. And, I think when we all sort of headed home back in March, we didn't see ourselves here still at this point, but it's been amazing to me how the media and areas of communication have adapted. And yeah, I'm curious from your perspective, have you got it down to kind of a science at this point, and how much of that do you think is going to continue even when the health situation improves?
That's a great question. I think a lot of it has adapted by necessity. We've changed, and I think we're going to stay changed in some of those regards. And I think that's part of the reason that whether it's the faculty who you mentioned in all the different disciplines in Newhouse, or the alums who come back and visit, we're always appreciative as alums that our faculty invite us to come speak virtually, or hopefully someday again soon in person, to the classes and the students at Newhouse. We're able to share what's going on up to the minute, real time, in the real world. And we are in a very different place, in a very different time. We have editors who are working from home. I did an entire 45 shows of live interview shows on NBC's cable network, NBCSN, from right over there, from the corner of my office. We have a light set up and a camera and a microphone. And, I'm running around my house with a microphone and earpiece that I use on the road. And we have all this set up. And truly, my corner office became I joked it was the NBC News Ann Arbor Bureau for the last 6 or 7 months. But I did an interview last night on CNBC Live, and we keep doing these things. And this is going to be the way of the world. So the fact that internships, professors who are still in touch with a lot of the folks in the industry, we're able to share this real time, take it back to the Newhouse faculty and students, and they are going to be ready for this changed world. And that's a great thing. And it's a very important time to be doing this. So the advantage of we always like to wink and a nod, say the Newhouse Mafia, but the fact that our network is truly connected here, I think is going to be even more beneficial to students as the rubric of what we do continues to change.
Yeah, and as we're talking, I want to encourage the parents and students who are joining us today to feel free to put a question in the Q&A, and I'm sure Mike can has a little time to tackle one or two questions from the rest of our group if you're up for it. But I think I hear from parents and some students, there's real concern about how will my child emerge and into this workforce as things are changing so quickly. But kind of to your point, I'm encouraged because I think they're getting obviously the core skill set here at Newhouse, but the reality is it's a level playing field, right? If I'm producing a package using Zoom technology, that's the same thing I'm going to have to do when I graduate to whoever hires me. So it's I'm not, I guess, as concerned as some might be, and I'm curious from your perspective, are you that encouraged as well as you look forward?
I am. I think you bring up a good point, Dean Lodato. And I think that right now, students are getting the closest to real world training that they ever have, because there was always a natural equipment gap, and there still is. But that equipment gap, which is a lot smaller for students at Syracuse because of the Dick Clark studio that you saw in that extraordinarily well done video, that's even shrinking more because right now we've got colleagues who are working on laptops. We have live shots on this exact technology. I was on CNBC Live last night with the same light, the same iPad, the same microphone setup, all of that. I've done podcasts from here with microphones and radio equipment that's back here in the corner of the office. So this is really what's going on in the world right now. And the students are getting a chance to do that in their dorm rooms or when they gather collectively on campus as they can. So I understand that. I do want to hit one other point. And it's really important to me because I think it speaks to everyone who's watching, the family members. I'm one of you, my wife and I, we are both the same as you. We have two students in college. Neither one is at Syracuse. One didn't want to study communications. One didn't want to be another Tirico walking around the campus at Syracuse. And I totally understand and respect that. And she has promised me that she'll go to grad school there. But in any case, it's hard. It's hard for parents. It's hard for our kids, whether they're somewhere else taking their classes online or they're in our basement or they're, experiencing 13th grade after 12th grade for the high school seniors, right? Families of freshmen, some ways the kids feel like the same friend group and all those things, but they're finding a way. They're connecting, they're starting club activities online and doing all those things. And I think every day we ask the question, how are kids doing? And it's the same question we're asking each other. How are we doing? So that support, that care, that interest level. The one thing that I can speak to directly on the Syracuse experience that I know I'm missing out because I don't know the faculty nearly as well at Stanford or Northwestern where our kids are, is that I can tell you that the Newhouse faculty cares so damn much about your kids, their education. I've known a lot of these people for a long time. I know what they're made of. The staff, the faculty, the legacy of Newhouse is the connectivity of the place. And a lot of it is because the professors, the adjuncts, everyone involved, they take the extra time to make sure that your student, your son, your daughter is getting the complete experience of communications education. And if there's anything I can say that may comfort you in a place that I know as parents, we're all feeling this angst and discomfort, I think where your kids are interacting with college, they're getting as much as they can because of the fiber of the Newhouse faculty. And I know, Dean Lodato, as you've come here this year, you've seen that firsthand. It's a really special group of folks who you would sign up to be a part of a team with at any moment.
Well, I think you've said it perfectly. It really is an amazing group. And I knew that the Newhouse network and as well as the faculty and staff were outstanding. Part of the reason why I came on board, but you see it that much more clearly when you're here every day and how much everyone cares and wants to give back. And it's truly a fabric that I think is very strong and showing that even in challenging semesters like this one. And it's kind of funny. I don't know, your daughter may know my son because he's not here either because he doesn't want to be the dean's kid on campus. And I think he thinks I'd ruin his street cred a little bit, which
Same here.
Probably
Same here.
accurate, right?
Exactly. 1,000%. 1,000%.
So, well, I mean, from your perspective, what do you miss most about being on campus? If you think back, I know WAER was important to you and just some of the other experiences, but what does a sort of a family weekend or homecoming weekend mean to Mike Tirico?
Yeah, that's what I miss. Exactly what you said, the ability to go back and reconnect with so many folks. And I think of what it was then known as Parents Weekend, what's now Family Weekend meant. It meant first chance to see your family in quite some time. They want to size you up to see how you've changed. You want to see if they're still picking on the same things that we pick on our kids as parents oftentimes. But I'll tell you what I miss the most. I miss the chance to come back to campus, which I've been lucky enough to do. I think this will be the first semester in 30 years that I don't get back to campus. And I miss going into classes and being on that patio at Newhouse and watching the energy of the place come alive from 8 or so in the morning when classes begin on through the afternoon. There's a magic and a youthful fuel that a college campus can provide. And those are visits for me that I cherish. And it's allowed me to stay close to our alma mater, and I'm involved as a trustee, and being involved in the governance of a university that you love so much. You can't find enough ways to give back because we're inspired by the students and what they do to push us going forward. I always like to tell the students, hey, please do well, because you make our degree more valuable every day. They turn out people a lot smarter and a lot more ready for the world than we were back then. So I miss all of that. And I know as family and parents and brothers and sisters, you're missing that chance to just check out your kid's dorm room and how sloppy is it, even though they've cleaned up for your arrival, but everything's shoved under the bed, all that stuff. It's a part of our lives that we're missing, but hopefully we can get back to it soon, and we'll appreciate it even more. We'll appreciate our imperfections, appreciate sitting in traffic, appreciate sitting in lines waiting for things. You know, I think all the small things we used to complain about, we now long for. And certainly the visits on campus and the time with the Syracuse family in person is part of that. And I'm sure, Dean Lodato, that a lot of the families represented here are alums. A lot have seen what the Syracuse experience is like under their own roof, and they'll send their kids to campus for the next generation. I will tell you, if you haven't experienced Syracuse and you're just doing it through your kids right now, through your students, just wait. It's a special group. It'll be a party for life. You will be Orange. You'll be forever Orange in some way, shape, or form, no matter where else universities have interacted in your life. We have a spirit and a community that's really proud, is defined really by tough times and making them better and doing things the right way. And I think we're in one of those times right now, but as Orange family, we thrive in these occasions. So encourage your kids to do that. Encourage them to soak up everything. And if I can give one piece of advice, please, at Syracuse, push your students to get involved in the clubs and activities on campus. WAER is the campus radio station that Dean Lodato just mentioned. Those friends that I made my first weekend of freshman year are my friends 36 years later. They're still my friends. The person who I sat next to in my first COM 107 class, Introduction to Communications, is an amazingly talented woman named Kathy Orr, who is the weather person on the Fox affiliate in Philadelphia. And we are still great pals and check in on our kids and stay in touch. And we met in class 36 years later. So they are the friends for life that your students, your children are making. So share those experiences with them and encourage them to go meet everybody, because it's an amazing place. It really is.
Well, Mike, thanks so much for stopping by. I appreciate it very much. I know you've got a hugely busy schedule, but you do bleed orange. I think there's no doubt about that. And I know we all appreciate getting a chance to catch up with you. And thanks for your service as a trustee and on the Newhouse Advisory Board as well. It's a wonderful example of the dedication of the Newhouse family and the Syracuse family. So
thank you.
Best of luck to you this weekend. I hope it all goes well, and don't work too hard on us, and keep an eye on those college kids.
we promise we will, and thank you, Dean Lodato, for embracing all of our Syracuse alums and the new class of Newhouse. I think we have had amazing leadership in that office, and we are so thrilled that you are the next amazing person to continue to take us to great heights as a school. So we're in good hands, and thank you, and I hope everybody has a great weekend.
All right. Thanks so much, Mike. We'll talk soon, okay?
You, Mark.
Take care. And just as we let Mike get back to his day job, so to speak, I wanted to address a couple questions that had been put in the Q&A area for us. So one person asked if I'm concerned about employment and internship opportunities for students Does SU have recruiters on campus to interview students? When will that happen? That is sort of a constant process. That is run out of our Career Development Center. I believe they've done one virtual career fair already, and there are more in the queue. So students should be getting those notifications through the various Newhouse social channels, as well as directly in email from the Career Development Center. Employers today are easily engaging remotely. So we're actually in many ways reaching different and more kinds of employers because they can cast a wider net for when it comes to virtual internships. So in some ways, the challenges have created additional opportunities, which is great to see. And then another question, have I had a chance to interact with our students virtually in recent weeks and months? Yes, I've worked hard to stay in touch with our students, Ed. I think it's acutely important for the dean to do so. And I've been actually quite impressed, first of all, with their resilience. This is a group that is, again, proud to be on campus and wants to do what they can to ensure that that continues. At the same time, they're stressed, and I get it. You know, there is a lot going on in everyone's lives right now, and whether your situation may be stable here at school, that doesn't mean it's necessarily stable back at home, or vice versa. And I think it's really important as a school that students understand that we're a resource. And I always say, if I don't know the answer to the question or the problem, then I will be the first to go find that person who can answer that question. So I worry about our students. At the same time, I'm encouraged by them every day. And you know, one of the things that we were worried about right out of the gate was, you know, crowding in the building and those sorts of things. And I haven't seen that at all. Everybody's been respectful and understanding of the rules and doing everything that they can to stay safe. And that's been encouraging. So sort of at every turn, I feel like there's a level of encouragement and excitement among our students. But I do check in with them, if not weekly, certainly monthly, and love to hear their feedback. And I hope that they know that my office, the door is open, and that they can come see me at any time. And if I can't talk with them right away, I will make an appointment before they leave, and we will catch up very soon. So that sort of connectivity is hugely important to me, for sure. So let me see what other questions we have here. Let's see, what is the situation? Oh, that's a good question. What is the situation with graduation? Will there be a traditional one? Honestly, Susan, I have not received a specific understanding of how graduation will come together for this next this next cycle, either winter or spring. So we're gonna have to see. I was actually literally thinking about this on my own just a couple of days ago, because I think we're gonna want to recognize that time, certainly for any December graduates, and then plan what we can for spring as well. But I think that is still a fluid situation. And frankly, I think we owe some sort of recognition / ceremony, et cetera, for the May of 2020 graduates as well. So we just need to find something that we can do in a safe way. I think if I had to put money on it, the next one will be some sort of virtual experience that we could produce through the school that will recognize our graduates, and then maybe some sort of appointment-based in-person recognition as well here at the school. So we've got a group that's beginning to bat that around a little bit, and we'll communicate further. If you have some ideas and something that you would like to see, please feel free to let me know directly, and I will happily chase that down for you. So another question we have: how can a student find out if there's internships available in their hometown over the semester break? I would connect with the CDC, the Career Development Center. We have a staff of about 5 people in there who are constantly looking for internships around the country, as well as right here in Syracuse and New York City, as well as Los Angeles and elsewhere. And they can help you identify the companies that operate in your hometown and then, in essence, triangulate internship opportunities. So, for example, I moved here from Phoenix, Arizona, and I know what all of the media companies are that own those outlets and agencies there. And they're the same ones that recruit here, but they may not realize that a Newhouse student from Arizona would be interested in a internship in Phoenix, Arizona this summer or something. And we can help make that connection happen. So I would inquire to the Career Development Center directly. If you're having a hard time tracking them down, please let me know, and we'll be sure to get you the answers that you need. I still see Mike's picture up there, and we're letting Mike get back to work, but it was really nice to have Mike join us. So what will the procedures be in terms of quarantine for the second semester? Oh, I should have mentioned that. There will be a quarantine process again for the spring semester. So it's actually going to be very similar to fall, in that students who are coming into town from hot states, so to speak, will be expected to be here 14 days in advance and quarantine. As I said before, we learned a lot in the fall in terms of that we need to do more to keep students engaged while they are here in quarantine. So we've got a lot of things in the queue to be able to do that. And we are also working hard, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, to create some of these what we call winterlude courses that students can take and can stay engaged even while they're in quarantine. So all of these winterlude courses will all be delivered remotely. So whether you are in your residence hall here on campus, or you're in another part of the country or another part of the world, you can take these winterlude courses, and that will be something that will be available to students who are here and in quarantine. But that will be expected of our students. They'll have to arrive in advance, just like before, show evidence of clear tests and that sort of thing. And speaking of testing, just while we're talking about that, I would encourage students, those of you that are joining us today, and parents, maybe encourage your children, take part in the open testing at the stadium here on campus. It's quick, it's easy, it's free. It helps us get a very broad, clear diagnostic situation and ensure that we're doing everything we can to ensure a safe environment. Faculty and staff are doing that as well, because as you know, there's a lot of asymptomatic cases out there, and we want to make sure that if there are any of those on campus, that we can identify and get those folks quarantined and isolated. So that process is moving smoothly. We are encouraging more participation as we move forward. So anything that you all can do to either participate or encourage your children to participate is terrific. So Jill is actually asking about the essence of what they might have had at Newhouse. Where are we falling short? I think we're doing really, really well. So as I mentioned, I think the area which really sort of increased my level of concern at the beginning was these, what I would call micro engagement opportunities. So that talking to the professor after class, or running into somebody in the hallway, or a quick gathering of students to tackle a problem. We are working to really reassess what we can do to create those opportunities. We've taken that challenge to every one of our departments, and faculty are encouraged not to just have office hours, but more of a casual drop-in. For students, sometimes requesting office hour appointments can sound formal, and it can sound like a bigger hurdle than what they really want to talk about. They just want to share something. And so we're trying to sort of lessen the stigma of office hours and create more opportunities to engage with students. The beauty is the building is open, and we are encouraging students, even when they're taking their online class, to do it in the building. And I love seeing some of our signature spaces where students are are sitting down and engaged and working online, whether that's in food.com, the Maurer hallway, or other areas. So we're working hard and we're trying to listen to our students and see what they're asking for. And usually it's what I describe as engagement related. So we've done things even like yoga and other very casual activities. And we've engaged with our student organizations and challenged them to do more, and also given them more support. I've told our student groups, look, if you can come up with ways to increase the engagement of your students who are interested, I will help you find dollars to do that. So trying to be more aggressive and connective and not being afraid to try new things. So I think we're being pretty aggressive in that area. Let's see, a couple quick questions before we wrap up. Do I know if SU will use the same pre-testing process vendor? I don't know. I would guess that we'll use the same vendor, but I haven't seen that written anywhere just yet. So that is really centered out of a different department. So I have not seen word on that, but I would suspect in terms of will there be a pre-test, that I feel confident in saying that answer will be yes, but how that will be handled, I'm not quite sure. For the students who don't get around to getting a flu shot, well, that will fall under the student code of conduct. So I think it's either important to get the flu shot or file the paperwork attesting to either a medical or religious reason for the withdrawal. In other words, you have to fill out a form if you think there's a reason why that should not apply to you. And I know that population exists, but you have to be able to document that. So there's a process for that that's laid out on the website. But otherwise, everyone else is required to get that shot. And I know they are open every day up at the stadium and available. So that's the process, and we encourage everyone to participate. So we did get one last question came through via email, our remote experiences. I will tell you the answer as of today, okay, but it is fluid. Today we are working very hard, and I think we will be in a position to have the New York City experience open for in-person experiences and classes in New York City. Los Angeles is more tenuous. I am not as encouraged that because of the health situation there, as well as the logistical challenges of Los Angeles, that may be a remote situation. But I will tell you, we've had more students involved in both of those programs remotely and have had amazing experiences, and they'll be happy to share with students how that has worked. So I think those are really examples of victories in the COVID era, is how we've been able to engage in New York City and Los Angeles. DC, which is primarily a summer program, I have high hopes that we'll be able to do that in person, and other local experiences, including Syracuse TV and whatnot. Some of those are in person as well as remote. So we are in essence creating as many in-person experiences that we can safely. So if that can be done in-house, we've got all the PPE, we've got plexiglass shields and masks and all those sorts of things, and are doing basically all of our productions are in person, but they're done in a safely managed way per university and CDC guidelines. And as external units, whether it's the student media outlets or local companies are allowing people in person, I know they are doing that as well. WAER is largely in person. Our students are calling games, sometimes remotely, but they are together, separated by plexiglass, calling a game that may be happening here or maybe happening remotely. So we're being very aggressive in that space to give as much in-person experience as possible. And again, I'd just like to wrap up to say I am so proud of our students, so proud of our faculty and staff and what we have been able to accomplish. But I think it is our job and obligation to be adaptive and to be listening and to pivot as necessary. And that is really what we're doing in real time. And I think we've learned a lot this fall, and we're going to take what we've learned and create an even stronger experience for the spring and even the winter. So I want to thank you all for joining me today. I hope this has been beneficial for you. We love having you as part of the Newhouse and Syracuse family. And please know that my door is always open. You can email me at any time. It's just mlodato@syr.edu. My cell phone is also available. So if there are things that come up, know that we are here for you. Also, we do have other sessions going on over the course of our weekend, and we're glad that you're able to engage with us. The next one for Newhouse specific is making students marketable during a pandemic. So a lot of you had questions about internships and job opportunities, and this is a great session to attend. So that is coming up here shortly. So I would encourage you to do so if you can. I think you'll get a lot out of it. So again, thanks for being with me today. I hope you'll stay engaged, and please have a wonderful, safe weekend, and go Orange. So good night.